Hello and welcome everybody to your very first WordPress tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to create a free WordPress website and how to use this website to build backlinks. So it's going to be a two-part tutorial. First I'm going to show you how to build the WordPress free website. I'm going to show you how to apply all of the best practices for SEO, and I'm going to show you how to update that WordPress site. It's really a blog, but we can use the term blog and website interchangeably throughout this video. So, first thing we're going to do is go to wordpress.org, Google WordPress. It's the first organic result that shows up. And you're going to want to use your already existing email and password to go ahead and create a free WordPress website. So let's go ahead and do so now. Let's see here, actually. Let's see something. Yes, it's WordPress.com. Correction. So duly noted. So your website is going to always have .wordpress.com at the end of it. So you can name it whatever you want. You can name it my WordPress website .wordpress.com. That's probably taken. So you're going to have to come up with something unique that no one else has. Now, if you are already writing for us and you're familiar with our routine, then you know that in Basecamp there should be a project. And it's probably going to give you some specific directions as to what your focused keywords are. So keeping that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and create a website address that is focused on a keyword that one of our writers is going to be focusing on. So whoever that writer is going to be lucky because they won't have to create this WordPress site. I'm going to do it for them. But they still will have to go through some other type of test in the future. We'll make sure of it, don't worry. So that being said, I know one of the focus keywords that we're working on is PPC management company, and that's basically the keyword, but I'm sure it's already taken, so I'm just going to hit create just to see if it's available, which I doubt it is. If it is, I'll be very surprised. Sorry, that name already exists. See here? Oh, right above, however, the following, right? It says that already exists, so I will have to try and create something a little bit longer. For example, PPC Management Company, Miami, or in Miami. See if that's available. Beautiful. See, so it says it's available, and I'm going to go ahead and enter my email address. I'm just going to use our anonymous account, and I'm going to create our username as I'm just going to name it that. Something generic. I'll let the writer who's assigned change that when they log in. No risk. See the writer. No spaces allowed. All right. I'm going to set the password. Okay. Let's see. All right. Let me take a note of this username and password combination. So I'm going to skip this offer that says, great, use this address on my blog for $18 a year, and just click on no thanks, I'll use the free address, which is going to be PPC Management Company in Miami.wordpress.com. Great. Scroll down, thinking about upgrading, free. So all the way to the left here, there's a free blog option, which you want to click on. That will take you to the next step in the process, which is actually the first step in the next series of steps. Blog title. This is where you're going to want to do some cleaning up of the address. I would recommend giving it some spaces and capitalizing the first letter of each word. If it's an acronym, obviously pay-per-click is the acronym is PPC, so we'll do PPC space Management Company in Miami. Here we can put a tagline, and I'm going to put something unique and compelling, offering data-driven PPC management services worldwide. Our PPC or other PPC, or I'm going to do a variation, other pay-per-click, because that's a different way people search for pay-per-click management. They type out the whole phrase instead of just the abbreviation. I want to try and account for that and include that variation too. So other pay-per-click management companies strive to compare or to compete with our services. English is the primary language, so I want you to realize that now I have PPC Management Services, PPC Management Company, and PPC Management Companies. The way I did it allowed me to include pay-per-click spelled out and PPC, Management Companies, Company, Miami, so there's a lot of different key phrases in there, which you guys should also be paying attention to, depending on what your keywords are. Here you could choose a theme. This is going to be the look and feel of your blog. It is your blog, so you can feel free to choose whichever one you want. But I will say that when you pick the ones with a lot of images, just be prepared to have to add a lot of images if you want your site to look full and complete. They obviously look better, so you could use this blog to kind of give your website a personal touch, but at the same time, contribute some great content. Some are free, and most of them are, but there are some paid templates. If you want to have a nice looking blog, go ahead. This is going to be something that you manage. No one else is going to really have access to, and you're just going to basically update once a month as part of your assignment for writing. But instead of writing for our clients, you're going to be writing for us. And it's going to allow you to learn a thing or two about what we offer as a service, which is search engine marketing, so that hopefully in the future, as you learn, you can also start to help us out with other forms of search marketing that revolve around content production. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and just click a random theme here to choose from. I'll choose the suits theme. Explains what it has, gives a little sneak preview of it. It's a very simple looking blog. Not too much going on. Next step. Here you can connect with Facebook. If you have Facebook, go ahead and connect with Facebook. And if you have Twitter, you can feel free to connect with Twitter. This is going to allow you to basically update your Facebook profile or your Twitter to say, hey, I wrote a blog. Check it out, guys. That's actually really important. I know it seems kind of silly for us to ask you to do that, but believe it or not, search engines like Google, Yahoo, and Bing, they monitor your social activity. And if you share this page and a lot of people see it and they click on it and they read it, that actually encourages the search engines to show that page on Google for a keyword like pay-per-click management company. So let's say, for example, I wrote a blog post about pay-per-click management services, which is a type of marketing service that we offer. And then after I wrote the blog on this new blog that I created, I went to my Facebook and I said, hey guys, I just wrote a nice blog post about pay-per-click management services. If you want to learn what it's all about and what pay-per-click is, I encourage you to read it with a link back to the blog. Well, now Google's going to see that, wow, this blog here has been shared on someone's Facebook, and we actually use our social media management department to share your blogs too. So you'll more than likely have a lot of people sharing your content. So it's important to, write good quality content when you're updating your blog, unique, compelling content, because people are going to read it. The better the quality of the content, the better the chance of that being able to show up on Google. So make sure you write really unique and compelling content that you take your time with. This isn't like writing an article. This is more than that. So if you don't have a Facebook or a Twitter, then I encourage you to create one, because you are essentially going to eventually need one to really get the full effect of this. So if you don't want to use your personal for whatever reason, then let us know, and maybe you can create a pseudo profile for these purposes, for work purposes. Once you have that configured, you log in, you click on next step. Since I didn't connect with Facebook, it might ask me to enter some other information. Let's see, please verify your email. Yep. So I'm going to have to verify my email here, youranonymousanalyst@gmail.com. It sent an email there. Let me go ahead and just show you what you have to do in order to verify it. But it looks like we're all ready to create our first blog post here while it's loading up. You can kind of see that it's very simple. There's a title section, a body section that shows you your basic functions that you would have in Microsoft Word, such as bold, italicize, bullet, numbers list, quotations, align left, center your text, align right, insert a link, things of that nature. So let me verify the email. Oh, I spelled that wrong. I put you. Let's see here. Make sure you enter your email address correctly. Very important. Save changes. Alright, there it is. So I just clicked on the verification link. Please click on the following link. And this should go ahead and say perfect. See, now it's successful. So now I have the ability to go ahead and have full reign and the ability to do anything I want now that my email is verified. So I'm going to go ahead and create a post, very short one, PPC management services for large corporations. Now, why am I making that the title? Because we want to show up when people type in PPC management services and PPC management services for large corporations. So I'm going to try and write about how we would be able to service a large corporation with our pay-per-click management services. I'm going to explain what the benefits are and why they should contact us if they were ever looking for pay-per-click management services. Now, I'm not going to actually physically go through the process of writing the content because you guys are more than experienced with writing content and using keywords in the paragraph headings and whatnot. So I'll skip that part, and what I'll do is I'll grab a body of content that I already have ready, to save some time. And here it is. Let's see. So, grab the content, control and paste. There's my content. And there's a couple of things that you're going to need to pay attention to in order to make the posts 100% optimized. So, in this section, we have the title. That's the most important place. That's where you're going to put your most important keyword, the one that you're focusing on the most. So in this example, it's pay-per-click or PPC management services, and we included 4 large companies at the end, or large corporations. So I probably want to talk about, large Fortune 500 companies, Inc. 500 companies, Inc. 5000 companies, large corporations, large companies. I want to mention big companies and entities, but using different keywords to represent them. So I might use throughout this content a couple of keywords that are very similar to this, such as pay-per-click instead of the acronym spelled out, pay-per-click, management services for large companies, pay-per-click with the abbreviation management services for large companies, as well as switching out corporation for company, again, switching out corporations for companies, also using things like what I mentioned before, Fortune 500 companies, Inc. 5000 is another good one, Inc. 500 is another good one, Fortune 50, just anything that you could think of to strategically, use the main keyword, which is pay-per-click management, but also account for other variations that people might type in to look for that type of service. So throughout the content, you're going to want to include your paragraph headings, your body content, and throughout that, include those keywords in the body and in the paragraph headings. Now, whereas before with articles, the paragraph heading, you really just didn't have to do anything other than bold it or make the text a little bit bigger. Here, you're actually going to have to do something to make sure that it shows up correctly. With WordPress, you have the ability to toggle between visual editor and HTML editor. Now, the difference is that in HTML, which is text editor, you're going to be able to see code. There is no code right now other than the spaces. The space in HTML is translated into a non-breaking space. So this is actually what a program will interpret as a space, ampersand NBSP semicolon. So in order to tell the internet that this is a paragraph heading, you're actually going to have to put a set of commands around it. It's very simple to do. All you have to do is put a less than sign, H for heading. You can put 2 to let it know that this is a secondary heading, as this is the first heading. The title is always the first heading, so that's why you have to label this header number 2, essentially, is what it is. So you have the open header command, and after the last character in the header, you just have to put the closing second header command. So the only difference is that it has a / before H2, but it's still in the same set of less than and equal than, or less than and greater than sign to basically indicate that it's a code. So you have H2 open, H2 close. So what you've done is you've changed this sentence into a paragraph heading instead of it just being plain text. If we toggle back to visual, you'll see that the paragraph headings become bold or bigger. It's actually not bold, it's just bigger because the headings become bigger when they're displayed on the website. So one thing that you're going to need to do is just clean up the formatting. Since I pasted this from Word, it looks like the spacing's a little off, so I'm going to remove the additional spacing here. And make sure I change the paragraph headings here into headers instead of just regular text. So I'm going to apply the opening header tag and the closing header tag. Double check with visual. There it is. Looks like there's one more paragraph heading. Apologize, we have the highly motivated sales staff on a call here in the background. Last paragraph heading, I'm just applying the opening heading tag and the closing heading tag. As you can see, H2 open and H2 closing. I'm going to check the visual to see that they've all now showed up as, or now that they're showing as header tags. I know it's all done correctly. Now, last but not least, we want to always include a link, maybe 2 links or 3 links at the most, to different pages within our websites. Now, if you check Whiteboards on Basecamp, you'll have a list of the website URLs that you can link to. Now, that's going to be listed as target URL. So here's the thing with target URLs. You want to use relevant keywords when linking to different pages. So for example, if in this body content that you've written, you've mentioned, let's say, something very far-fetched, such as a pot of gold or a unicorn, well, then you'd want to, whenever you mention that unicorn, highlight that phrase. Let's say, and here I put unicorn. Okay, I know it's very far-fetched, but I've learned that if you make things far-fetched, it makes it easier for you to remember through a memory book I read. Fun fact. So you highlight the term, you click on this paperclip button, no pun intended, and it says, okay, let's make that phrase a link. It already shows what text you highlighted, which was unicorn. And then I would link it to whatever URL on my website or our website, whatever URL is listed under 2 target URLs on the Basecamp whiteboards that's related to unicorns. So we might have listed a page that's all about unicorns on our website that's called noriskSEO.com/unicorns, which I know is a very far-fetched example again, but you get the idea. In other words, you don't want to have the phrase that's being used to link to another page not have some sort of relevancy between the anchor text that's used as a link and the page it's linking to. So the anchor text, that's the programming term for the clickable text that links to another page, needs to be relevant to the page it's linking to. So going back, what you need to do is include at least 2 or 3 links to relevant pages that correspond to the anchor text that you're using to link to. So I know for 100% certainty that there's a page on my website that speaks about how to set up your ROI tracking for your marketing campaign with Google Analytics. It's a software that allows you to track what you spend on keywords versus what you get in return if you do a pay-per-click campaign. So this would be the perfect opportunity to highlight this and turn it into a link back to my page that explains how to set up ROI tracking. So let me give you a live example. How to track ROI with Google Analytics. To Google that, I'm not sure where, but it should be somewhere on the top couple of first few pages. It's actually a pretty competitive keyword, being that it's a worldwide search phrase. The point is, I want to find that URL for you. Here it is. Copy the URL and then turn that into a link. So now I have the text, the anchor text as ROI tracking. It would be nice if it said using Google Analytics or ROI tracking with Google Analytics, but it's okay. I didn't write this content planning to use ROI tracking as an anchor text, but as you're writing your content, you want to keep in mind, what the keywords that you're going to be using to link to are going to be. So if I was writing this along the way, I would have known that, hey, I do have a great page that speaks about ROI tracking. So before I write the sentence, let me see if I can pre-structure the sentence to include a really good keyword, such as using Google Analytics to track ROI. So I might have written the sentence a little bit differently so that I could have had using Google Analytics to track ROI versus ROI tracking, which isn't as search engine targeted. So anyway, you would hit OK, and then that turns it into a link. And that is the perfect example of how to use an outbound link to your website while using a different website. So right now we effectively created a website called PPC Management Companies in Miami.wordpress.com. If I were to hit publish right now, that web page would become live with all of this content, and there would be a link in it pointing to our page, the Miami SEO Company /e-commerce/tracking ROI Google Analytics. So what's going to happen now is Google's going to recognize that, and this page, instead of being on the second or third page of Google when you type in tracking ROI with Google Analytics, it might bump it up to spot number 9 on page 1 just because of the fact that we're building its popularity by doing this right here, by creating links to that page with a lot of content that's relevant to the keywords at hand. So that's basically how you create a WordPress blog. Now, there's a little issue here. This content that I've taken is actually going to be used in a different manner. So I'm not going to shoot myself in the foot and create duplicated content and publish it, because that's really bad. If you didn't know, anytime that you create duplicate content or anytime that you plagiarize content or create duplicate content, the search engines like Google, Yahoo, and Bing will actually completely remove your website from the web. So if you've ever thought about writing duplicate content to save time and to make additional money without really working for it, it gets meticulously checked. So please don't save yourself the headache, because it will be very problematic. Not to mention, there's software out there that automatically detects that thing, and it's just bad business altogether. But in any case, I think we've gone through pretty much everything. I just want to show you really quickly what it would look like if we publish this. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a bunch of bogus text here, hit publish immediately, and I want to show you a couple of things actually. Okay. Under the URL slug, every time you make a new post, this is the first one I've made, so it's okay, but every time you make one, you want to enter a keyword here that is related to the post. So the topic is usually the best thing to do. Usually what I do is just copy and paste the title into the slug, and that'll basically make the URL take whatever's in the title. So see how here it says tracking ROI with Google Analytics as the title? It put that in the URL. So Google sees that and they're like, wow, you guys are really relevant. It's in your URL, it's in your title, people are linking to you. That's what gets you to show up on Google. So make sure that the URL always has the title in the URL by putting it in the slug. Okay. Excerpt you don't really need. Featured image you should definitely do. You basically here will want to take an image from our website that's relevant. So maybe a picture of one of the pages that you link to, for example this. Any of these will do. So you save it, save image as, go here, set featured image, then add it to the featured image section, hit open, and it'll upload there just fine. Location, if you do mention a city, just enter the city and the state and enter it here. If not, don't worry about it. Tags and categories, you don't have to worry about for now. In the future, if you do start writing about a lot of different things and you have a lot of posts piled up, you can start to segment your posts by category so that you can keep things organized in the future. So, for example, if I go to one of my categories here, like e-commerce, which is a directory in my website, if you notice here, it'll show you all my posts related to e-commerce. So that's after you already have like 50 or 100 posts and you want to begin to organize them. But for now, you really don't have to worry about that. Sharing, you can add your different social accounts here. So if you want to share them on more social media profiles, we'd really encourage that. This is where you would do it. So let me click back out of here. And there's a lot of options here, but you don't really have to worry about them. Publish, you could schedule it if you want it to be released on a certain time, but we usually request that you do it immediately. And yeah, that's it. Once you're done, you just go ahead and publish it, and it'll be live. So let me go ahead and hit publish here and show you an example of what the live post is going to look like. There it is. So we hit view post now. See, now you can see that the URL is PPC Management Company in Miami.wordpress.com/test. Took the slug, put it in the URL. So it's just an example, guys. And that's really it. Once it's live and you're viewing it, to go back, you would just click on this PPC Management Company. It's going to show you the name of the blog at the top. You click on this and click on Dashboard. And the back end of WordPress is fairly easy to use. The only thing you'll ever have to really do is click on Posts here on the left and just add a new post. So here's your old one. You can click on Edit. It'll take you back to the edit. I'm going to trash it since, obviously it's a bogus post and we're not going to use it. So now it's trashed. I'm going to actually permanently remove it. So now I'm going to add new. This is what you would do every time you want to update your blog. You just log in, and there it is. You put your post, you put your content, you publish it, and that's really it. Here are your category options on the right. It's a little different layout when you create it versus when you are going back to update it. So the first time you create it, it's a little bit different. That's what we just went through over here. And every time you go back to update it, it's going to look like this. So, and by the way, the way to log into your WordPress website, you have to have the URL. PPC Management Company in Miami.wordpress.com is my URL. But in order to log in, you type in the URL followed by /WP for WordPress -admin. So PPC Management Company Miami.wordpress.com /WP admin will take you to a page that says please log into your site. You put your username and password, which you should have written down, and it'll take you right here to the page you're looking at. Again, all you have to do is click on Posts, go to Add New Post, start writing your title, blah, 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 start writing your content, blah, blah, blah. One thing that we want to encourage you to do is to get used to using pictures, okay? Now, don't steal these pictures from Google by searching Google Images and taking a picture. Take them from our website. Surf our website and just take the pictures you see there. Those are ours. They're paid for. You won't get us in trouble or get lawsuits against us. So please don't take images from any other place. But try to include images in your post. For example, I might want to add an image right here and wrap my text around it. The way to do it would be to put your cursor there, click on Add Media, take the file from your computer, which you should have. Let's see here. I'm just going to take this default picture. Very important, when you add a picture, make sure your title and your alt text are filled out with a keyword that's related to the image. So this is an image that's going on our PPC management blog about our company. It's a company picture of all of us. It has a couple of the guys at a trade show that we were at. So here I'm going to want to put PPC management company team. Something relevant that has a keyword in it. I'm also going to copy and paste that into the alt text section here so that my picture has keywords wrapped around it, which is very important. So I'm going to insert it into text, or I'm sorry, insert it into the post. You can choose a bigger size if you don't like the size. Medium or whatever is usually set as a default is going to take the exact size of the image that you uploaded. So I add it here, and if I want my picture to be aligned to the left and my text to wrap around it, you just click the picture and hit align left. Let's see here. Basically, let's see here. It used to work a lot easier. Alright, well, it's not working the way I would have liked it to, unfortunately. I think the way to maybe do it is not being recognized as a command here because it's a free website anyway. No problem. If you want to use an image, probably the best thing to do is center it so it looks appropriate, or however you'd like. But that's how you add an image. Click on Add Media and upload the file. That really pretty much covers everything. Once you're done here, you could set the featured image, which is important. So if you want to use the image that you've already added, you can do so. So there we go. Now the featured image is set. The tags, you can put a keyword or two. Category, again, you don't have to wait. You don't have to worry about until the future. The format, don't have to worry about. You can either save as draft if you're not done and you want to work on it tomorrow or the next day, and it'll be there under your all posts section when you click on posts. You can hit preview to see what it'll look like. There it is. That's the featured image at the very top. So we'll go back and we can go ahead and change the URL slug here instead of before where the option was here under advanced settings. What you can actually do here is just change the URL after the date. Now, one thing that we want to do is probably get rid of this date here. I'm going to see if it's possible with the free WordPress site. And usually there is a section here. But I think since we're using free WordPress websites, that might not be an option to change. I would not be surprised. Yeah, it's not an option. That's okay. So that's basically it, guys. You hit publish here. The page is going to be published, and I'll go ahead and do it so I can show you what it looks like when you're done. And again, now that it's published, if I would have hit save as draft, that would have worked fine too. I could have done that and it would have saved as a draft. But I'm going to go back to the dashboard here now. And on the left, if I click on posts, there it is. It's already published. If it was a draft, it would say draft here to the right of it. We don't need this, so I'm trashing it. This was just a test. I'm going to go into my trash and permanently delete this. That's it. You're pretty much done. that's how you create a WordPress blog. Remember, 3 of the most important things: have a good understanding of how anchor text and links work, and how to maintain relevancy between the text being used to link to the page that it's being linked to. Make sure that the keyword being used and the page are both relevant, and of course that they're all relevant to the topic you're writing about. Make sure you incorporate the keywords in the content and the headings of the paragraphs. Make sure you add your open heading tags and your closing heading tags, which, again, if you don't remember, you have to make sure that you toggle to the text editor version instead of visual, which is the same thing. You go into the back end when you're on text editor, you hit less than, H2, greater than, my paragraph heading goes here, then the closing heading tag. There it is. So now if you click back to visual, see, it becomes a lot bigger versus something that's not, which is smaller. And there's that code of the space that I told you about before. So paragraph headings, titles need to be very well constructed. You need to add the most important keywords in the paragraph headings, and the title needs to be the most important keyword. And that, for the most part, covers all of it. If you can just go ahead and make sure to follow all these best practices, and you'll be good to go. Next, I'm going to show you guys how to create a Tumblr free website, which is very similar to WordPress, but it's just a different type of company or free hosting provider that's not WordPress. It's Tumblr. Thanks for watching, guys, and if you have any questions, feel free to send us an email or give us a call. Thanks. Bye now.